Have you ever felt like you're drowning in customer requests? The more successful your product is, the more customer requests and product requests you are going to get, building more pressure from your management, executive, sales teams. Customer requests are going to come in many different forms. They can come directly from a customer in a conversation. They can come through an email. They can come through a checklist in an Excel, in a PowerPoint. They can come through Slack or Teams. And the sources can be directly the customer, or sometimes it can be somebody like a sales representative. This adds to the complexity of understanding how many customer requests you have. You also probably have felt this one. A sales representative is coming to talk with you about a customer request that some of his customers have and that is needed to fulfill a new sales case. Many sales representatives are going to feel like they own their own customers, which means that they're going to care a lot about their request being fulfilled. And of course, there are monetary incentives like commissions and so on that obviously are going to affect. But once you get this, that's pressure that salesperson is basically putting on you as a product person to prioritize this idea or this request from the customer. This can escalate further. It can come or it can be pushed towards a management team or an executive team or even a CEO, where it comes the pressure then from different directions that this sales case or this customer case becomes so important that you are getting bombarded about it in different directions, typically because of escalation, meaning that somebody talks to somebody saying that, hey, this product team is not doing what we are telling them to do, and so on. What happens then? Well, typically, you and your team are going to have some of the next symptoms. You're probably going to feel exhausted. You're probably not going to feel extremely motivated. You're probably going to also feel like there is no trust put on you. You might even feel like you're getting angry. And that's a problem, obviously. And that's something where we want to get you out of. But basically, this chaos is a symptom of deeper issues in your organization. So now let's talk about why this is happening. First of all, your team, your company, doesn't have a strategy or doesn't have a strategy that is clear enough for people. You might have a strategy, but it might be a problem if you don't communicate that strategy actively to everybody. So every time that you are talking about why you're prioritizing certain things over others, you have to explain why. Your strategy is going to help you justify why you're doing this. And a strategy obviously has to be agreed with the management team, with the executive team. It depends on the company size and so on. But it's something that you have to agree with a management team or a leadership team. If they approve said strategy, then you are able to use that strategy to justify your priorities and then to explain to those sales representatives why you might be doing something or not based on the strategy that you have. Why this whole thing is also happening is because there is a lack of trust. And the lack of trust many times is actually for a good reason. If there's no clarity, if salespeople don't understand why you are prioritizing certain things over another, and if they have gotten used to the best way of getting things done is by escalating and getting the CEO or the CPO or whoever to go to tell you what to do, well, that's basically lack of trust on the ways of working. The other one is that you probably don't have a process. You probably don't have a good or clear process on how to collect feedback and how to analyze that feedback and how to go back to those people that are giving you the feedback, whether it is the salesperson or just direct customer or even a CEO or somebody else, is that you don't have a process to explain how you are managing these insights that you are getting. And another problem might be also that they don't have direct insights on what are the product plans. They might not understand what's coming, what are you working on, where is the directions that you are going. So how are you going to fix this? First of all, have a strategy. Have a strategy and repeat it. Tell all the time about your vision and your strategy. What are the goals of your product? How you are going to get there. If you are not able to explain this in probably almost every meeting, at least in every planning meeting, in every meeting that you are sharing your roadmap, that you are sharing your prioritization or your ways of prioritizing, if you are not explaining this strategy all the time, people will think that why are we not doing something, one thing over another. But if you have a strategy that is centered around a certain area, like opening a new market, for example, and you are able to explain how all those actions or all those opportunities that you're tackling are actually linked to opening that new market, then it's going to be for them much more much more easy to understand why you're making those decisions, and why potentially some opportunities are not going to be addressed at this moment. They might be addressed in the future, or they might never be addressed. The next one is that you need to have a consistent way to collect feedback. You cannot rely on every time that you had to prioritize, every time that you had to plan, go through your emails, go through the wikis, go through the insights that you are gathering in some product management tool, Jira or Jira, product board, whatnot. You cannot remember every single Excel, every single PowerPoint presentation that has been sent to you. It's not going to happen. You have to be methodical, and you have to have a process that every time that an insight comes, you log it and then you process it. If you don't have a way to process these insights, then you're going to fail. And you are going to have to define what information is that you need to log or to input these insights into some kind of a backlog. You probably want to understand what problem is that they are trying to solve. You probably want to keep the original requests just for the sake of it, just because it's always good to keep it, even if it's very focused in the solution, which probably it's going to be. And also understand which type of personas is this potentially affecting, and potentially things like how many customers of my customer base might be affected by this type of request. Yes, some of these things will come through a discovery process if you decide to do so. Some of them you might have all that information from the beginning, and maybe somebody from your sales team, your support team, they might be able to give you this information to understand better why this insight is important or not. Then you have to align this process with all your stakeholders, not only your sales representatives, your support team, that are going to be some of the teams that are going to bring you this feedback, but also your management and potentially your executive team, whoever it is, independent, again, on the size of your company. It's going to be important that they understand this process and that they understand how you are gathering this feedback. And you have to be able to back up your plans. When you're making decisions and when you're choosing certain customer requests or certain opportunities against others, you have to be able to explain that, hey, these opportunities or these customer requests align to this strategy, and this is why we are taking them now. These ones, at this point, they don't align, so we cannot take them now. Might be taken in the future, or if they are not aligned whatsoever with the vision of our product, we will not take them because that's not an area that we want to go with our product. This is something that you are going to have to be able to do. The more you are able to explain this process, the easier it's going to be for them to understand why you're making these decisions. And you have to be transparent. If you just try to hide it and forget about it, and hopefully they don't come back to you, that's going to probably backfire, and it's going to come to you probably by some kind of escalation. And sometimes you are going to have to talk also directly to the customers why you are not doing certain things and you are doing others. Sometimes you just have to have that conversation. It is sometimes not very pleasant, but many customers are going to actually appreciate and understanding that, hey, no, at this point we cannot do this because we are focusing in opening this market or in this other opportunity. And those are the type of requests that we are tackling, that they are aligned with our opportunity. But if they are not aligned with this opportunity at this point, we are not doing it. And if it's something that your product is not going to do, it's better that you tell them. Because if you tell them that maybe in the future, but then your price, let's say 3D rendering, and then they start asking for having 2D features, it's like, well, no, I'm always going to be focusing on 3D. I will never touch 2D. So if that's a direction that they are asking you to go, it's better that you tell them that this is not the direction that the product is going to take, and that there's alternatives for that. Maybe what you can discuss then is, okay, how to have better integrations with those alternatives if needed, but you don't want to go into the direction, for example, of supporting more 2D features in your product. Being drowned in customer requests is a very, very common problem that I would say most of the companies have to a certain degree. I've seen it in many places. I've seen escalations of different styles. And I will not say that it's the fault of anybody, but it's a fault of uh, many different aspects of the ways of working in the company, even of you or I as a person, because our ways of working also are going to affect this. And in the end, it's not about finding so much what the problem is or trying to pinpoint somebody. It's about finding the solutions to solve those problems. Again, this is a problem management work. It's just you have a problem, you're drowning with requests, you have to find a solution. How you are able to manage those requests and identify the requests or the opportunities that are going to be the most important and most valuable for your product and for your company. I am right now working in a course where I'm addressing this side of product management, of setting the product operations, let's call them, in how to be more efficient, how to make better decisions, how to reduce the chaos and bring impact and solutions to your customers. If you're interested, sign up to the newsletter because I'm going to be sending you a reminder when the course is available. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. I will see you in the next one. And remember, stay safe.